Welcome to the StockMender.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your StockMender, Brian Johnson. I'm making professional trading simple. And party time tonight, we're going to party. Having my nieces over. We're going to drink punch, 7 Up and Coke, probably watch movies. I know. I'm crazy, man. I'm crazy like that. Don't stop me, because I'm nuts. Seriously, we are going to have a good time tonight. We're just hanging out with some friends. Like I said, having a lot of teenagers over here to the house, and we're just going to just drink pop and have a good time. For those of you that are actually going out and doing some of that more serious partying, just be careful. Find a designated driver, all that other stuff, blah blah blah. But you know what? The last thing you want to do is wake up tomorrow and be responsible for someone else's death. I mean, how awful would that be? What a terrible way to start the new year. Don't do it. Just be smart. You're much better off to pay whatever it would be to get a taxi to get home than you would be to have to wake up in a jail cell because you did something really stupid thinking you were okay. All right, so there you go. There's my parenting stepping out, being daddy. And let's talk about the markets. Now this is a 5-minute chart again on the Dow. Dow. Look at this big fall right here towards the end. And you can see up here we finally fell through and meandered right below that 10,500 level. And look how well it really held most of the day. A couple pops above it, another pop above it, ugh, ugh, and then ran out of steam right at the very end of the day. So what is this? Could be a precursor to what we're going to see next week. Could also have just been people getting out of positions and not wanting to hold over the weekend. Now, I did talk about this in my previous video, stating that it would only make sense that we'd see a move in the morning that might last the first hour or so, and then base sideways all day long, and maybe the last half an hour of the day see a move again as people. I would always suspect that they would be getting out of. That's what I would be doing. I would be getting out of positions coming into a weekend like this, and I think that's what we saw here. Some people just exiting some positions. So, fairly decent call from that perspective. It all came to pretty much fruition, except this appeared. The move in the morning happened to go about 2 hours as opposed to, I think, an hour and a half here as opposed to an hour, which is what I think I said. But whatever. Semantics. As you can see, we finished down below, closing below the 10,500 level, which is what I said to keep an eye on. Now down here at 10,428. So let's go ahead and skip ahead to the 60-minute. I'm going to do a lot more research and do a lot more work on this over the weekend. Once again, I'll be back with you on Sunday, for a video. We'll talk more about where we see things coming into the new year. Man, 2010. That's like 2010. It's like not even 2000 with a single digit behind it now. It's 2 digits behind it. Jeez, it seems like it was 2000. Remember when everybody was panicking buying duct tape and water? It was like a year ago, and people were like stacking up for that big year 2000 when the whole world was going to come to a standstill and gravity was going to cease to exist. You remember that? Everybody's buying duct tape and water and stuffing it away, and you couldn't get duct tape anywhere. I couldn't fix anything. I didn't have any duct tape. Anyway, uh, so now we're entering the new year, and I'll talk more about that this weekend and where I see things going. You can see it right here. Drop below 10,500, come up, test on a 60-minute, and then pow, completely plummet. Where did it go? Right back to logical support. The 200 period moving average on the 60-minute. What a brilliant place to stop. So a lot of the indices finished at actually a pretty logical place as well. Dow on a daily, you can see it falling back down here. 10,428, 10,430 is your 20-day moving average. Now, it's 2 points. I'm not going to get too excited about, oh, hey, it closed below the 20-day. It's 2 points. End of the day, kind of a rush to get out of things. Not a big deal right here. But it is kind of a bigger drop from the standpoint of just below this 20 is that lower trend line that we've been watching. More importantly, the 50, which is really what we're still watching here on the Dow. So a lot of work for the bears to do. I'm certainly not all that bearish as of yet. Over a weekend like this, it's very common to start the week off up ever so slightly. So I would kind of expect that at this point. Once again, I'll look at it more this weekend. NDX on a 60-minute, you can see it falling off at the end of the day too, putting in a very nice high base here, but eventually not able to hold, pow, falling right back down towards that 50-period moving average on the 60-minute, and right back into this resistance here, or what is now support, on the daily. So a very curious fall. This was looking like a nice high base formation, and now having broke down below here, looks like maybe we have the start of something new. I'm not panicking yet. We have the groundwork, at least, for a bearish type of a move, but I'll get with you more about that this weekend. On a weekly, notice how this is now kind of turned back down, really waiting for it to see what it does when it gets back to here, if it gets back to here. One little move like this from a weekly, see how the bigger picture doesn't really look all that bearish? So I would expect maybe, we could see a pullback here, but I would really be watching this level right here to hold as strong support. If it doesn't, then we got a bigger then we got a bigger story to tell. SPX on a 60-minute, if this thing will ever load. Let's see. That was weird. So I lost my internet connection for a couple minutes, but now we're back. All right, so here's the SPX on a 60-minute. Remember where I said they kind of fell to logical places? Well, gee, look at that. 11:15. Now, I don't think I've ever mentioned this level before in the SP. Oh, wait, yes, I have, over and over again. So, very logical place to end the day. Now, it was kind of a broken formation, to be honest with you. Right here, I was watching this and looked like it might be setting up for a bull flag, and now we've fallen down and through it. So, once again, something to be peeking at over the weekend, and I'll let you know what the analysis is come this Sunday. But SPX falling at the very end of the day, right back into should be anyway, very strong support right back in this area, 11:15. SPX on a daily, you can see the big candle up here. Now, for those of you that got short up at 11:30, can you see where that would have worked out beautifully? Now, it doesn't always obviously work this well, but this is why it's not such a bad idea to take a short position up here at these overhead resistance levels. 11:30, I said, yeah. 11:29, 11:30, you bet go short. You can put a stop, a real tight stop up at 11:32 or 11:35, and now you were only risking, what, 2 to 5 points? And you could have closed out today for approximately a 15-point gain. I mean, that's an awesome risk-to-reward ratio. So I hope some of you got in on that. I hope some of you took my advice on that. And if you did take my advice and you made some money on it, tell your friends. It was free. I don't charge you for this. It's just out of the goodness of my heart because I love you guys so much. Tell your friends. Come on, this was good advice up here. This is great. Anyway, so another quick fall back right into this support. Now, this should act as strong support. Once again, like we've seen on some of the other indices, I'll be watching closely coming into early next week to see if these levels do hold. From a weekly standpoint, SPX on a weekly, let's look at the bigger picture, and that gives us what? Come on. There we go. Still, like I said, I could tweak this upper line right here, but it is closed below it, on it, close enough for me to call it right back kind of below what this overhead resistance was, right on overhead resistance, right about this 11:15 mark. So nothing really broke yet, though, from the bull side. Keep that in mind. And look at the volume. I mean, blah, nothing. So we're still a lot of work for the bears to do if they're going to make this for real. Now, the VIX actually started to pop back up here towards the end of the day, too, confirming the move to the downside. Some fear poured into the market and was evident here by what we saw in the VIX towards the end of the day. But some fear doesn't make sustainable, consistent fear. It's still within this range, as we've been talking about. And once again, certainly something to raise your eyebrow about. But at this point, not something that we need to be too excited about in the short term. Apple